look in the lower right-hand corner. Top bar, the red is my health bar. The green, of course, is my stamina. Now in the middle is the blue. You see that? That's my mana. You'll notice how it's diminished, right? Less than 50%. You see that gray area? And that is because, and I explained it last episode, but I hope, it's much like Pillars of Eternity, Path of Exile, 1 and 2. I have these two summons, and each of these summons puts some mana from my mana pool in reserve, just to have them active. So that's why it's diminished like that. And I looked it up, and there is no way to unsummon. So hopefully that is something that they add. Oh, see, that is super cool. I'm able to cast, super fast versus... Yeah. Get him. But the faster I cast, of course, the more, quickly my mana depletes. No, deplenishes, there's no word. Yeah, look at see, it might have, this game, Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. It might have all these bugs, I haven't encountered any crashes, but, first of all, it is an indie game, it's a very small company, not a lot of people working for them. So it's made with love, and you can see to that, and they did what they could with the amount of money, almost. I like to see these independent gaming companies as the Roger Corman, right, of games, where much like Roger Corman, they try to squeeze every penny of what they got, to do the best they can with it, much like Roger Corman. And there's something special about games like that when, I know people compare this with an Elder Scrolls, and first of all, I feel that you're still able to like a game, not just this, but any game, any independent game or any game in general, without putting down another game. So just because they found something new, like, Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, or whatever it may be, they don't suddenly have to turn on Bethesda and Elder Scrolls and say, oh, well, see, Bethesda's AAA, title, and, it's a big company and it's riddled with bugs, and this one gets a pass. Of course, yeah, sure, it gets a pass, but you don't have to, belittle Bethesda or Obsidian or any other company. You can have your complaints, like I know with Avowed, they, I haven't played it, but from everything I've read, the majority of it, they've gone, woke and all of that stuff. That's fine, but you also have to look at their past deeds, the other titles they've brought us, like New Vegas, Pillars of Eternity 1, and, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, games like that, so there's bound to be a few missteps along the way, and that's fine, and very much like, Bethesda. But that's why this game has the type of look that it does. When Morrowind was made and Daggerfall was made, Bethesda wasn't all that big of a company yet, and that's why it looks the way it does. If they could make it, I don't want to say better, but if they could, make the graphics, add more things to the game, let's say, and they had the budget, then they would, but with the budget they have and the budget they had, this is what they were able to come up with, and to me that's super impressive. So I really love that. And to get back to what I was originally saying, is I love how this game has a plethora of things that you can say. You can question him and commentate on a bunch of different things here, or stick to the gold text, which it's probably tied to the main story or the main objective of a quest from someone, to move on with the next part of it. But why dost thou still station Ordran to the front then, if you know that? Okay, so I'm going to end it here. Very good game so far, I have to say. It does draw you into this world. Sure, it's not the most polished game yet, and it probably never will be, because unless they remake the game from scratch, which I'm sure they're not going to do, and I wouldn't want them to do it, because then this is what they made for its time, and and with what they have, and I would just be happy if they just maybe polished it up a bit more. But very good game, a very fun independent game, and it harkens back to early Elder Scrolls. And I still love my Elder Scrolls, and I still will always stick to what I said about there's no need to crap on another gaming company just because you found a new one that you like. No need to crap on any company. Okay, so that's it. Hope you all enjoyed, and see you.